What is up guys, Nolly here and welcome to the first Smite video, the first proper Smite video I should say, going up on my channel. This is going to be a Conquest game, which is obviously the main mode, very similar to other MOBAs such as League of Legends or Dota, and I'm going to be playing the jungle role as a god called Nuwa, who's not entirely conventional for the jungle role. It was a bit of a pick I was forced into because we have a mid who is Cupid, who is like a physical range carry, which is a bit unusual for Smite, not totally unheard of, but it sort of pushed me into a mage role.
Good luck.
So, what I'm going to do straight off here is start with the solo laner, who is, as you can see on the map, we've got left, mid, and right lanes, and a jungle flowing in between. What I'm going to do very soon is make a sort of mini tutorial video of what Smite is, what Conquest is, what sort of roles gods play, and what you should really be doing during a match at the sort of most basic level. So what we are here, the game's about to start. There are mid camps which 3 of our teammates go to. They are either side of the mid lane, and then further back from that there are the 2 buff camps either side of mid. So right now we are at the movement speed buff, which is my personal favourite to pick up off the get-go. And so I have an active called the Hand of the Gods, which allows me to immediately take out the smaller minions and do decent damage to the big minion, just speeding up this whole process. It's also quite hard to do this on your own, so I advise bringing along the solo lane or even the duo lane on the right hand side. So I pick up speed and then we go immediately to the blue buff, which is a mana, to give it to the god, funnily enough called the mana. And then immediately, this is what the meta is right now for the jungler. They go into left lane and help push. I say left lane, doesn't really make much sense. Short lane, I should say. Short lane and long lane. Short lane is the one with the solo lane, and long lane is the one with the duo. So normally you go in to push their lane up and try and give them the early advantage. I nearly catch out the enemy jungler there, which is Sun Wukong. Also, not entirely a conventional jungler, he's much better in this lane, which is solo lane. And their solo is a god called Freya, a very powerful god, but only if played correctly. So what I'm doing here is sort of out-pushing them. My god's main strength is as a pusher. My 1 allows me to go invisible, creates a speed aura. Also, I'm cutting this play all around. This is me contesting the very first mid camp on the right of mid against the opposition jungler Wukong. I believe we get 1 each, or maybe I get both of them there, but he puts the hurt onto me because he's more of an up-close physical brawler, whereas I'm a ranged auto attack, or basic attack I should say, mage. So my 1, as I was saying, allows me to go invisible. It makes me move faster and gives aura of speed to all of those around me. My 2 will summon a minion. Each level I give it will summon a extra minion, and it will give me some physical protections in an aura form, so those around me also get them. Now here, Sun Wukong, my enemy jungler, forces my ult out, but he also ultimates himself. That is obviously your 4 ability, your most powerful ability, and he makes the mistake of staying around to get as much health as possible and doesn't go in on me immediately, and I'm able to escape thanks to a bit of defense from the Cupid in mid. Now my 3 is my most powerful ability bar my ult. It is a small circular stun. It does a fair amount of damage and leaves a burn on them. I'm not sure what aura it gives, but that is my ultimate there. As you see again, I'm using it quite defensively, but what that allows me to do is do double attack damage with each of my basic attacks. And it also creates a sort of box which slows enemies when they walk through the electric, and those pillars are actually solid and can be used to pin people on or just to generally body block them. So that was a reasonable engagement. We ended up taking out their tank, who is Ares. We're not playing a particularly conventional team with 2 Ares on both sides in the duo lane. One of the weakest tanks for endgame anyway. But here we have Cupid's ult coming out, Fields of Love, which allows me to also place mine down. And thanks to his Heart Bomb sitting on Sun Wukong, it pops and kills him, even while he's in his ultimate Somersault Cloud, which allows him to regenerate some health. So here, the opposition Nuwa, who's in a slightly more conventional position than I am, she's sitting in mid lane, stuns me, but I'm able to get away pretty unscathed and go right back into combat. So here we see the enemy team is sort of invading our blue buff area, and our areas is ulting. Their Mercury goes up in the air. We are quite easily able to obtain the kill on their areas thanks to a damage over time effect that ours does. But unfortunately we lose our range carry, who is neat, to the power of Apollo. Now unfortunately Ares stays in to save my life here from a very powerful Sun Wukong and opposition Nuwa. But unfortunately the rotation of Cupid is quite slow and we cannot obtain any kills out of this situation. Even on this health I'm quite a powerful god just because I've got a lot of evasion, quite a fair amount of speed, I can go invisible, and my ultimate is perfect for blocking abilities. So here I use my ultimate again defensively, but not for my sake this time, trying to save Cupid's life, but the opposition Nuwa does the same and is able to secure the kill. In doing so I am forced to hold down mid lane and not able to get any of the jungle camps, which is sort of the lifeblood of the jungler. Those two on mid are what will win the jungler's battle against the other jungler. They really are the separating factor. So here we have a tense position for right lane. Both the jungler and the opposition tank have invaded the blue buff, which is really my job to protect. I come across here to try and help defend it. However, the Ares uses his no escape ultimate, pulling me in. Because I have no way to grant CC immunity, does decent damage and pulls me into many issues. Now this is where sad things happen, because their Ares has a they have two attacks, a chain attack and a flame attack, and they do damage based on the percentages, so based on your percentage health, and that completely destroys me. I'm in a pretty dodgy place with Wukong invading me again, but this one turns out to be a bad decision for him as I use my Hand of the Gods to obtain the movement speed buff, placing down my ultimate as more of a playpen than anything, leaving Wukong no escape and allowing me and the fantastic Vamana to clean up the kill. Freya uses her ultimate to fly in the air, gain immunity from damage from the floor, and fire 3 nuclear explosions at my face, almost killing me, but again, thanks to this very good Vamana player, she is forced back into the jungle where I can take her out with a well-placed 3, which is my stun. Now, the thing about that ability is it's quite hard to land, but if your timing and ability placement is good, it's extremely powerful, and of course a 1 second stun is always useful. Now Cupid is again out of position, and Fields of Love does allow him to take out the enemy Nuwa, but at the cost of his own life. And suddenly, thanks to Ares sitting in mid lane, their Ares is able to use the active ability Blink, which I have in my inventory, and pull me in with no escape, resulting in just about everything landing on my face from Apollo and Sun Wukong. That is my second death of the game. Now again, Cupid is overextending, getting greedy for kills. However, one of the enemies, which is in solo lane against the Vamana, does rage quit. I'm able to secure this kill with my ultimate. And then the follow-up is completely cancelled by the opposition Nuwa's stun. Cupid dies and then eventually complains at our slow rotation. I mean, really, we had no reason to rotate. I was surprised I bothered in the end. A good evade by the enemy Nuwa allows her to escape for now. Can't remember whether we do chase up this kill. I believe we do. Neith uses her World Weaver ultimate to stun and do a little bit of damage, allowing her to finish him off, or Nuwa off I should say, with a basic attack within the tower. Now I haven't really gone into the things beyond the gameplay. I'm sort of uploading these in the wrong order just because it's very hard for me to record the exact video I want to do. But what I'm doing here is stealing the enemy speed buff, not only because I needed the buff, but also counter jungling is stopping them from getting experience and buff themselves. Now, I noticed far too late that this Ares is pushing up right lane. This is completely, well, I say it's completely my fault. He's a little out of position, but I do ultimate to try and save his life. I'm unable to do that, and I do apologize through the V-Talk system. I really hurt Apollo, so it wasn't the end of the world. It forces him to back. So, hanging around mid here, I notice Vamana is pushed up, but I know how powerful he is and how over-leveled he is compared to their team. And this allows me to blink around the back of them. And I know he's managed to force Nuwa towards the back of the tower on reasonably low health. And I know they can't see me while I'm in my one. I'm basically invisible to them on the minimap unless I start attacking. So by doing that, I can land my ultimate almost exactly on Nuwa, and a couple of basics are going to take her out. without any penalty from me. My escape is covered by my little clay soldiers there, which is my 2 ability. And then, thanks to Ares' attempt at rotating and ulting on me and the mana, he ends up going down to some basics from me and him. So this looks like basically the game for us. They are a player down, and we are going to systematically start taking out their towers, despite right lane or the duo lane sort of losing overall. But thanks to my fantastic ability as a pusher, I can in fact stun towers. I'm able to take this out using my minions and the creep wave, which is pushed up toward it. So it's always worth, whenever possible as the jungler, if there's enemies missing from their lane, to push up the tower. And now I don't really go into my build, but here I build Telekine's, which is a very powerful auto attack item, above my boots, which is an item for speed. Most of you who play other MOBAs will know all about the boots and how essential they are. Bomber's Mask is the sort of standard jungler active, and Polynomicon allows me to do damage scaling off my magical damage through items on my next basic attack following an ability. It's very powerful, specifically for this mage and any other auto attack mage. And finally I start building a Demonic Grasp, another auto attack mage item. But here we have, good game. Down goes the enemy Minotaur. They do surrender. No arguments from their team. They do complain a little bit, which is sort of standard, and that is what solo queue is. This is one of my only wins I had all day, even though I was playing reasonably well and I was tanking and doing all sorts of different roles. It can be quite difficult to win in solo queue, and this was, you didn't see it, but our team was highly outmatched on the God ranks. We had 2 quite low players, and then me and the Ares as high players. So, well played to my team. A good victory considering the original circumstances. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in another Smite video very soon.